Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaeli I. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Welcome to episode 48 of the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaeli Lindholm, the founder of Kaeli I Consulting and the Pop Aesthetic Leadership Academy, where we help aesthetic business owners and leaders build deeply satisfying, lucrative, freedom-based businesses that stand the test of time. And speaking of the test of time, the one thing I know for certain is that the only thing certain is change. And evidenced by conversations I had this week, I think change happens to be at the forefront of a lot of people's minds. So, hey, have you ever heard the phrase, be careful what you wish for? It sort of seems like in some ways, society creates this roadmap for us, this roadmap of our own success, right? Get married, have babies, grow old. Get a job, get a promotion, become a corporate officer, start a business, make more money, buy a bigger house, build your tribe, gain more followers, grow your celebrity. Well, it wasn't until I was talking with a client and thought partner this week when she said, well, Kaeli, I officially got what I asked for, and it's not at all what I want. And that really inspired me to take the time to dig into this thought model. I wish I could say my mouth dropped and I was shocked that a brilliant human with big goals, ambition, and a magnetic personality would set out to accomplish her dream and then found that dream didn't in fact bring her the joy she had imagined. But I wasn't shocked. In fact, I became inspired to record this podcast and shine the light on what I believe is a virus that affects so many of us. It's the sickness of being drawn into a system for achievement that looks great on paper, but maybe favors our bank account and helps a lot of people, in the end drains our passion and fulfillment and leaves our tank on empty. So how does this happen? I spent some time over the weekend thinking about this and how it's possible for us to feel so confident that we're on the right path when in fact we're moving at super speed in the wrong direction. As I sought out to answer this question, I came up with 3 overarching possibilities for why we can one day be so explicitly clear on what we want and then the next day find ourselves living in a world of emptiness. Number 1, we're measuring the wrong things. A mentor of mine often compares our business growth journey to a sailing ship in the sea. We set the compass and steer toward our destination, but we can't really physically see the beacon or the landmark that we're headed for. We have to rely on our navigation panel to provide us insights on our location, the elements we're weathering, the obstacles in our path. But imagine if we were set out for our treasured location, but all we were measuring was our speed. Maybe we were absolutely booking it. We're crushing our pace. We're leaving our competitor ships in the distance. We're celebrating our unparalleled velocity. We're making newsworthy progress, only to recognize that we hit a wave a ways back and that turned the sailboat 2 degrees in the wrong direction, and we completely missed our mark. Similarly, imagine if your primary goal was to grow revenue in your business, or someone you trust is solely celebrating your financial growth. Your numbers are doubling quarter over quarter. You're hitting $1 million benchmarks year after year. You're getting bigger, badder, stronger. You're being recognized by the world for your achievements. But what about your profits? Are you spending triple the amount on marketing, on team, on shiny new equipment? What's the cost of staying relevant? Are you having more fun in your business? Are you still able to have the intimate, high-quality connection with patients that fueled your business at its inception? So according to research published in Forbes, we all face financial and career-related stress at some point. But long-standing research shows that happiness at work reduces stress, raises your energy by 65%, boosts productivity by as much as 31%, and builds a high-performing work environment and quality of life for employees. Perhaps your happiness as a leader should be a primary KPI, key performance indicator, versus a projected long-term benefit. Number 2, the second reason we find ourselves off track is that the only thing certain is change. If I had $1 for every time I was told, but Kaeli, we've always done it that way, I'd be recording this podcast from my private jet, which I don't have yet. But when I do, I will be recording podcasts from there. Look, change is hard. And in fact, from my professional experience, 90% of the time, it's the prospect of change. It's the uncomfortableness of pushing out of our zone of comfort that actually holds our businesses back. In particular, young or small businesses must change and adapt to grow. That's the whole point. The decisions you make to get your business to the place it is now are not the same decisions that you will need to make to take it to its next level of growth. I've personally hired employees who are totally on board with how their role impacted the business at one point, but as the business evolved, it pushed them so far out of their comfort zone that they were unable to expand. And in my opinion, allowing that will be death for a small business. If you aren't able to adapt as a business and your people aren't willing to grow and change as the business evolves, you will stay stagnant or worse, find yourself off track from your desired goals. As the innovator Walt Disney pointed out, times and conditions change so rapidly that we must keep our aim constantly focused on the future. If we don't, we'll surely fail. And the third reason we seek out a destination and find ourselves out of love with it when we arrive is that we have actually evolved, meaning grown as a leader. For example, in the case of the client I referenced earlier in this podcast, she went full throttle using her business savvy, brilliance, and charm to attack her goal of building a thriving business. But she realized that the business she had built for herself left her with questions about the sustainability of the business model as it relates to her time, her open space for creativity, her relationship with her family, her freedom. And so she finds herself asking, what do I need? Just like when you're ready to take off on a flight and the flight attendant advises, in case of emergency, apply your own oxygen mask first. That's the thing. In order to build a truly satisfying business, you have to ask that. What do I need? If you have a service-based business, this should be the primary question to ask yourself. Then build your business around that answer. I'm actually going to give a fourth as I'm thinking of it, and honorable mention is not waiting to give your well-laid plans enough time to blossom. I found that depending on the magnitude of the initiative, it will take between 3 to 9 months to see sustainable impact. We're so motivated by instant gratification that we often change direction before the idea blossoms. It's like planting seeds in your garden and digging them up a week later to see if they're sprouting. If you haven't had a chance to listen to episode 7, Success Incubation, please go back and check out that episode where I discuss what I call the underbelly of success. We happen to have a false picture about how success happens because we almost always see the results, but we almost never see the process. We think if something is amazing or beautiful or brilliant, then the process of achieving that must have been equally incredible. However, 99% of the time, it's in fact the total opposite. The process of accomplishing something significant is usually unsexy, painful, costly, and embarrassing. And that's true for making impactful shifts in our business model or strategy. Listen, I want you to know that you are a brilliant, intuitive, and capable woman, and you will be successful at whatever you set your mind to. Let me repeat that. You are a brilliant, intuitive, and capable woman, and you will be successful at whatever you set your mind to. But if you change your mind, that's okay too. I'd love to share stories, experiences, and resources with you. So if you haven't joined my mailing list, make sure you head over to klcconsultants.com/join to officially link up in my community and get some awesome weekly entertainment and education delivered direct to your inbox. Listen, ladies, if you have a dream or you have accomplished your dream and your dream is no longer your dream, that is okay. You are on a journey of evolving and growing, and this is part of the process. So embrace it. Don't expect overnight success or overnight changes. Give yourself some time and space and grace to make shifts and pivots, and you will get there. And everything you have done up to this point is just setting you up for a stronger foundation, better skills, and better resources to be able to accomplish that next set of goals. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me today. Now go get after that goal, sister. I got you. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Fierce Factor. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you subscribe so you can automatically get new shows every week. I'd also love it if you left us a review. And come join the conversation online. If you're an aesthetic industry owner, operator, or leader, please join my free Facebook group, The Tribe of Fierce Aesthetic Leaders, a community of ambitious, purpose-driven professionals who collaborate and share best practices for growth in business and life. I'm honored you tuned in.